Okay, I welcome you to the preview of the English Premier League match day 36. This should be, so we're closing in here as well. We do it as we always do with the assistance of the Betmaster Tool, provided with my settings, and if you know anything better, you can adjust those settings and maybe get some even better prices out of this Betmaster Tool. You can get your access if you follow the link in the description. Anyway, we're going straight into this preview here, and we do it like this. I'm trying to check out, we all know that it's getting a bit more difficult towards the end of the season. We have to watch out a lot more about teams' needs and maybe other competitions as well. Lineups could possibly also have a major impact. Lineups, of course, will be altered following the needs, and sometimes as the season is closing in, even some players may be traded or change their club, so maybe they are not even being lined up anymore. So any team that achieved its season's goals or it failed to achieve it, them have to be watched out for a lot more. And still, the title is at stake here between Liverpool and Tottenham. And I find it a bit funny if the assessment is it is still tight and anything can happen. Understanding the betting and those things better, you can, the chances are, of course, with 1 point difference only and 2 games to go, they are clearly on Manchester City's side. Although the goal difference speaks for Liverpool, that doesn't do much harm. Manchester City just need to win their 2 games. And if we see here, this is like 117 against Newcastle, maybe well assessed. And the other game in the week to come is against Wolves. Is there one more to be played? Yeah, West Ham. So they got 3 more games, 36, 37, 38, sure. And that's 143. But you can multiply already these chances, and it will be around 50% for Manchester City to win all their games. And so in this case, they will win the title anyway. And should Liverpool drop a point somewhere, which is of course possible in every game, facing Tottenham, it is a bit more likely. And taking on, who more else do they take on? Southampton. It's a 138, so also some chance for failure. And Aston Villa, it's also 146. So we see here that Liverpool have the much tougher competition. Anyway, so that makes it like 70%. I'm just guessing. At least I could calculate it more exactly, for sure. Anyway, Brentford, Southampton. Of course, we have to study the table in this case. I'm trying not to look at the prices. My computer compiles because I find it interesting then to check out and compare the prices in my head. So I didn't compare it yet. Manchester City 1 point clear, goal difference on Liverpool's side. But in case Manchester City, drop a point or, well, what chances are there? They win all their games and they do not win one of them by drawing, for example, then they will be a point clear anyway, so goal difference wouldn't matter. You have to, if they would win 1 and lose 2, and they would draw 2 and lose 1, then they would be level on points. And then it still is an open race, but it's very unlikely. In fact, there are 4 more games to be played, so I was wrong. It's match day 35, or some of them have played 36, 35 games. This is very common for England, so you never have really a chance to do a straight table to check out. but at the top at least, this major decision here is clear to see, plain to see. Tottenham with 61 points, especially in the fight against battle against Arsenal, the biggest rivals in London, battling it out for the Champions League. And 6th, 7th place, I'm not sure. But at the bottom of the table we have Everton with a game in hand compared to Leeds and Burnley. Could take over here. They beat Chelsea on the weekend. Anyway, we have to be aware of that. Who's playing for what? Brentford may not be possible get involved, or they are, because Everton can still make 47 points and Leeds can make 46 and so on. So Brentford, Aston Villa, all of them not safe yet. But usually they would play anyway. Anyway, we are, as we saw the table now, it's a 223. I find this a bit too low. Well, Brentford are well respected. We'll see what my computer thinks about it, but I would think 223 is a bit too low on Brentford. Burnley against Aston Villa. Well, if Aston Villa are still in trouble, as we just saw, some kind of trouble, then I would accept that price. They are slate favorites, they are the better side, and so on. Chelsea 137 sounds like a proper price, could be a bit higher, but Wolves also a bit out of shape. Crystal Palace against Watford. Well, in case Crystal Palace still play for something, or Watford are out of the competition here, or what about them? Yeah, 22 points is way too low, and ja, jetzt bin ich gerade im Video aufzeichnen hier. Kann ich gleich zurückrufen? Okay, paar Minuten, ja? Okay. Ja, ich gebe mir Mühe. Bis gleich. Ich zeichne gerade auf. Tschüss. Oh no, my telephone. So Watford actually not with some real chances, and Crystal Palace maybe still, as we just spotted, with some danger, in some kind of danger still. So 166 sounds like the right price to me in the first place. Brighton against Manchester United, just very small favorites. Manchester United, well, what can I say? Liverpool 146, computer will usually be a bit higher, but it respects Liverpool very well, so it won't be a bet here, I guess. Arsenal 145, yeah, well, it's pretty high, but okay, Leeds are of course in urgent need and so on, but Arsenal as well. Sounds very fair to me. 241, pretty high on Leicester, but as we saw, Leicester may be out of the problem zone while Everton are in there, and they beat Chelsea, so that makes this price grow a bit. 182 on West Ham sounds even pretty interesting. I would figure 170, nothing much to argue about, no bet here. And that's what I would roughly guess. And we compare it with my statistical approach, in which I calculate and predict, so to say, the goal expectancies on a statistical based method. I'm predicting all the shots and the dangerous attacks and things that I'm expecting. I compare it later and turn this into goals they should have scored, comparable to the X goals, which I find not the proper term for it. But anyway, so I'm expecting shots and things, and turn this with a certain algorithm into goals I expect for them. Afterwards we can compare here, but we can compare it especially with a tool calculation here. And as we see, 230, we had 223 on Brentford, so 230 we have no bet here, and this would say even a bit higher maybe on Brentford, the statistical method. So we are happy here. It's similar here. We had no indication here. Maybe on the draw, we don't want to go for draws at the moment. Although, well, computers has few goals, and the statistical method confirms, and it says Aston Villa are a bit more of a favorite because 0.21 goals better instead of 0.08. Still, it wouldn't make it a bet by any means. Here it would say Chelsea, we could go a lot higher. It's not trusting Chelsea so much. Also, the statistical method would even say we can go higher on Wolves, and in fact, in this case, I actually even have to go for it. Although I understand that even Chelsea could get into some trouble here. Well, 61, 66, so they could still drop out of here, while Wolves, well, maybe catch 7th place, catch West Ham, which I'm not sure if this is going to be a place in Europe. But anyway, what I do know is that they would all try, for sure. And so this is my first selection here, understanding well that Chelsea badly need this win to make sure they get into the Champions League, and Wolves may not really care. And in the Crystal Palace against Watford, I have here 181. Well, this goes along, and here it would say somewhat better chances for Watford, which I wouldn't care. They are going down with not much hope left. And here it would say easily we have to bet on Manchester United, and here would say rather watch out. So it would confirm market's view. 253 still sounds a bit too much to me, but I understand well that Manchester United are simply no good. So I'm still gonna bet them, and understanding all the downsides, and actually also in view of the statistical method, I would still say, well, it is pretty well assessed by market, but 253 is still such a good price that I somehow cannot resist, and I say partly this is right. Of course, understanding Brighton are good and Manchester United not so good, and here it would go a lot higher, but maybe not quite exceeding 253. Liverpool 152, I accepted that price. Market had 146, understanding Tottenham are pretty good, and this is confirming here or making the chance even a bit better. So if anything to think about, it would be Liverpool. It's just not good enough, and we also saw that Tottenham may well still get into the Champions League, which makes it a very important game. So they are on a good run, and Liverpool qualified for the Champions League final with a win midweek, but still might have consumed some energy. Anyway, Arsenal, well, that would be the next one. We had to, well, it was 145, no bet then on this one, so we accept market, or market accepts our, or comes to the same conclusion here. Here it would say somewhat better chances even for Arsenal, well, which wouldn't make it a bet anyway, by no means. Here, as I said, this looks like, well, too high on Leicester, and here the statistical method would give Everton somewhat better chances. We could still figure that Leicester are trying their best, maybe also they all would like to win points and win games. It's a matter of how much you tackle or are ready for a real fight, so to say, on a regular basis, or that common level they play at. But usually, and also they would not wish to make it appear they didn't really try. Still, it could be that they do not fight at full throttle, so to say, which makes it a bit daring, of course. But I think Leicester are a good side. Everton had been lucky somewhat against Chelsea, which makes this price simply a bit too high. What market thinks here, but you have to watch out really and not get angry if you lose such a game. Here we have a 177, which tells me we could even go for West Ham. This is confirmed by the statistical method here, because it says, well, more or less the same. I think 182 against a side that are not really in contention anymore sounds like a very good one. And Manchester City we would not touch. So we have these 3 bets, which 4 bets, sorry, which I understand are pretty. All of them have their downsides, right? Wolves, because they do not really need, while Chelsea are in urgent need. Manchester United, because they are not playing well. Leicester, they do not really need, but they would like to recover from a pretty bad season. West Ham would like to win. Here the statistical method would even say it is 177 or 182, 83. So I can't complain about market here, or it's not really a mistake, especially having in mind that West Ham are not playing so well most recently. Anyway, I have to leave you now. I'm having a cough. Anyway, as you see, or wrong throat, as you call it. Thanks very much for listening, and bye bye. See you soon. All the best.